Okay, so we have this working. It's changing nice up here. And what I want to go through in this course is kind of like a bonus section. I didn't intend to put it in here because it's not native to Bootstrap, but I think it's so smooth and I really enjoy when sites have this feature, especially when they're a tower site like we have, which means you have the links up here and instead of going to a new page, it goes to just a section on this page. Well, see how this jumps around? Kind of clunky, not very good user experience here. And opposed to what we have over here, you can click About, see how it nice and transitions there. Click Team, it transitions back down. All right, so what this is called Smooth Scroll. So that's what we're going to implement into our site is we're going to give it this same transition here. And what I'm going to go through is kind of show you in this episode, and you've noticed this in this lesson, you've noticed this in past lessons. I like to instill in you like how to find these code bits when you're learning. So we're just going to go simple and we're going to go at it. We're going to go straight to Google. We're going to say add smooth. Oh, here, look, see, you've already seen it. Here, add smooth scroll to Bootstrap Scroll Spy. Let's see what shows up. Right here, how to add smooth scrolling to Bootstrap Scroll Spy function. And Stack Overflow is great. You can, ask questions, and a lot of times you'll see them show up on Stack Overflow. Someone's already had this question. So, how to add smooth scrolling to Bootstrap Scroll Spy function. Been trying to add smooth scrolling function to my site for a while now, but can't seem to get it to work. Here's my HTML code relating to my navigation. Here's the JS code I've added. And you see this answer here, and you see it has 68 votes, so must be a good answer. So let's look at this. What he's saying is he's telling him how to do this, okay? So I don't expect you to know what this means, okay? But there's two things I want to highlight right now, and we'll highlight a third later. This is the identifier, and we've kind of done some CSS similar to this. If you ignore this section right here, we've definitely seen CSS selectors like this, hashtag nav, ULLIA. Okay, so we've seen that before. And so let's go up here. Hashtag nav, so ID nav, ULLIA. So it's identifying all these anchor or link tags right here, okay? Now let's go ahead and we want to put this to pertain to our site. So we're going to copy this. Let's go ahead and copy all this. And we're going to go over here to our Sublime Text, and we're going to create a file in JavaScript. And once again, if you don't really understand what's going on right now, that's fine. I just want to show you how to do it for the site, and once you learn JavaScript later on, it's going to make a lot more sense. Okay, so new file. And we're going to create a JavaScript file. So we're going to paste that in there. And then we're going to save it. And we're going to save it as smooth scroll.js. So we've created CSS files before. It's very similar. Instead of .css, we're now doing .js. Then we're going to go back over here to index. And we've included and linked to CSS files up top here. But now we're going to link to a JavaScript file, and we did it down here before, so let's do it again. We're going to do script and then source, or src equals, and how do we get to that file? We go into the JS folder, and then it's smooth scroll.js. So go into the JS folder, and then it's smooth scroll.js. All right, save that. Let's see if it does anything. Once we click this, so still no transition. Why is this? Well, remember we identified, what this goes to, or what the selector is, just like with CSS. We'll make a CSS rule. What the selector is in our, when I was showing you just a second ago. So let's view as to layout. I'm going to move this over here. And do we have an div with an ID of nav? So we don't have a div with an ID of nav, okay? So that's not going to work for us. What we do have is we have a div with a class of navbar collapse, and then a UL, unordered list, and then a list item with links in it. So let's do .navbar collapse. Save it. Now let's see what we got. See that transition there? Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Now, so far, like I said, if you're a little confused, if this is over your head, don't worry. I don't expect you to understand all this. I just want to, the first thing you want to take away is if you want to copy and paste this code into your site, how to identify up here properly what the link, where the selector for the link, and it's just like CSS, for this part. All right, so we've learned how to do that, and now we want to come down here, and I want to show you this part right here. This is the speed. So let's actually, the higher the number is the slower. So let's slow it down a little bit. So you see what it's like. See how fast it's moving. Now let's reload the page. You see it moves a little bit slower. Okay, so we've learned how to change the speed. We've learned how to put in the proper selector up here. All right, now I want to fix this as well. So say we're down here, we want to get back up top. I want them to be able to click that. This is also a good exercise to change this identifier here. So paste that, and now how do we select that? So pretend you're in CSS. How do you identify this right here? So let's look at this. So link with a class of navbar brand. Remember how to do that? So try this before we go forward. Try doing that on your own right there. Okay, so I'm giving you a second to think about it. Hopefully, you've paused the video and try to do it yourself. The selector. Okay. Well, you're doing it in CSS, so you're saying a link with a class of navbar brand. So if you remember correctly, it's going to say a link and then with a class, so period for a class of navbar brand. Now let's save that. Remember, right now this just takes us back up there. Now we want to reload the page and go down somewhere down here. This makes a good point. All right, so in the last lesson, I told you that the reason we were able to use the scroll SPI is not only because we included this up here, but also we created the links. So we said that this link, this who we are link at the top here, is linked to this div with an ID of who, and this get involved link up here is linked by doing this and giving an ID of get involved to this div with an ID of get involved. Well, if we look at this navbar brand, it's not linked to anything. All right, so let's come up here and we want to give this, we'll just go ahead and give it an ID of Jumbotron as well. Okay, and we want this to be linked, whenever we click this, we want it to be linked to this div with an ID of Jumbotron, so it goes to the top of the page. So boom. Now when we reload the page, we click on that, it scrolls up. All right, so we set the right selector here. We have the speed that we want here, and then we showed how it wouldn't work unless we've created this link between the href and the actual HTML element having the ID equal to the href. Okay, so now I want to show you something else, and this is kind of similar to the last lesson. See, it didn't take us to the top of the page. Just like when we get involved, it doesn't take us to right here so that it's nice and smooth, and who we are is still kind of cut off, the image is cut off. So now I want to show you how to offset it. You can see this offset here and offset here. And similar to the offset we had over here, you can see the same terminology, but we don't know how to do this offset correctly. We don't know how to give it a value. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our buddy Google again, and we'll do offset, and then what's this function called here? You got to scroll top. Offset, scroll top. Here we go. Let's check out this first result. Run scroll top. Trying to make the browser scroll to a specific ID with an added offset. What I need to do is set the offset by minus 100 pixels. How can I accomplish this? So you see his code, similar to ours. Offset, open close parentheses, dot top. Same exact thing we have. Offset, open close parentheses, dot top. And then we got an answer with 20 votes. So should be the right answer. No magic involved, just subtract from the offset top of the element. So offset, open close parentheses, dot top, space, minus 100, space, end of curly brackets here. So we're going to offset ours by 50, so we're going to do exactly what's showed to that answer. We're just going to do space, minus 50. And we're going to do it here too. Space, minus 50. Save. We haven't reloaded the page yet, so just showing you so you can see the difference. All right, let's reload the page. Nice. So now we have this top section here. Spacing looks good. Who we are, beautiful. And 1 million lines, beautiful. All right, so we learned a lot of new stuff in there. The main things to take away is how to create a JavaScript document, how to link to it in your index file, and just if you want to play around real quick, a lot of people go to Codecademy and learn JavaScript there, and they don't always show you how to include JavaScript into your HTML. So now you know how to do that. And then you learned over here in terms of this certain JavaScript function here. You learned how to change the identifier so you can use it for your site. You learned how to change the speed so you can make the speed however you want it. And you learned how to offset the top. So, I encourage you, obviously you're not going to understand all this right now, but I encourage you to, play around with these 3 things, and you can see how to implement it into your site. So we're done with that. Great job, guys. You can really start to see how it creates a good user experience here. It's just the small things that add up to a high quality user experience.